have appreciated him outside India. One is Friedrich Nietzsche, the other is Adolf Hitler. Adolf Hitler is a disciple of Friedrich Nietzsche. Friedrich Nietzsche is the philosopher of Nazism. Adolf Hitler is simply practicing what Nietzsche has preached. The relationship is exactly as between Marx and Lenin. Marx is the philosopher who gives the whole ideology of communism, and Lenin puts it into reality. The same is the relationship between Friedrich Nietzsche and Adolf Hitler. And it is not a coincidence that they both should appreciate a book written 5,000 years before in India. But both appreciated because they could see what a grand master planner Manu must have been. That he made a system that is still alive. He prevented revolution for 5,000 years, and perhaps he will prevent it forever. There may never be a revolution in India. Communist Party is one of the oldest parties in India, but has no power. Because to the Indian mind, it has no appeal. The Brahmin is not going to listen because the communists don't believe in God. They are irreligious people, immoral people. The warriors are not going to listen because they have power of their own. And anybody who has power is not going to listen to the communists because they want to distribute power and everything equally. Now, if you have power, you will not like it to be distributed equally. The only joy in having power is that you are on the top and everybody is below you, that you have succeeded reaching to the Everest and others are far below. You cannot accept the idea of distribution of power. The businessman cannot be for communists because his money will be distributed equally. And the man who could have been interested in communism, the fourth class, is so unintelligent, is so much in the grip of the priest that you cannot convince a poor man in India that you are poor because you have been exploited. I have tried, it is impossible. He will go on saying, no, it is my fate, my karma. And please don't say anything which disturbs me, because then I will have to suffer for it. It is only a question of few years if I can remain faithful in God and in the priest and in the scriptures. I will be freed and I will have all enjoyments. Revolution, he cannot do. Because revolution may destroy his paradise. Revolution is not appealing to him because it needs a certain intelligence. For centuries, he and his forefathers have been only making shoes. They have never done anything else. They are not allowed to do anything else. The system is so strict that no movement is possible. A shoemaker's son, whatsoever he wants, cannot move into another profession. He will not be accepted anywhere. These politicians and the priests are ambitious for power. There is another ambition, the ambition for money, because that is also a power. So there are three power lines. One is that of the priest, that he has a direct relationship with God, that he knows and you don't know, that he is wise and you are ignorant, that he is virtuous, that's why he is born a Brahmin, and you have committed sins in the past, that's why you are not in the first class. Everybody according to his actions. The second line power is the political power, which in the past in India was, and in everywhere else too, was the power of the soul. And third is the power of money. These are the only three powers. And all these three kind of people, rather than fighting with each other, have divided, which is simply intelligent. They have divided their areas and they don't interfere into each other's area. And the great mass, which is exploited by all the three in different ways, remains enslaved, goes on working for others, lives poor, dies poor, never knows anything of beauty, of music, of poetry. These are not for the poor masses. My effort is to make it absolutely clear to the intelligent people of the world that these three are criminals. Anybody who has a will to power is a criminal. That is my definition of a criminal. Will to power. And why I say will to power is criminal? Because will to power simply means power over others. The others have to be enslaved and exploited. The others have to be reduced into subhuman species. The others had the same potential, but they are not allowed to actualize their potential. Will to power means you want to become master and reduce others into slaves. This can be done in three ways: either through knowledge, which the priest has, after British Raj in India, there was a great struggle because Brahmins were not ready that their scriptures should be translated into any other language. They have to remain in ancient Sanskrit, which has never been a language of the people. It was a language only of the priests. But because the country was under British rule and there was no way for them, they tried hard that their scriptures will be destroyed, they should not be translated. But Britain was intent, because this was the oldest civilization. There may be secrets in their tremendous number of scriptures. So they started translating them, and that translations of Sanskrit literature destroyed the whole wisdom of the Brahmins. Because nobody has ever understood what they are saying, it has a magical quality to it. And Sanskrit is a beautiful language, almost poetry. You can sing it. Even the prose sounds like poetry. So Brahmins singing it, chanting it, nobody knows what is the meaning. Whatever the priest wants is the meaning. And Sanskrit is the language of God. And only the priest understands the language, so whatever transpires between God and man has to come through the priest, the Brahmin. The same was the situation in other places. Rabbis never wanted that their scriptures should be translated from Hebrew into ordinary people's language. About every religion the same. And the reason is those scriptures are simply nonsense. There is nothing in them. You dig the whole mountain and you don't find even a rat. knowledge was bogus, pretension, and the pretension could be carried for centuries only if masses were prevented. You will be surprised to know that one of Hindu gods, an incarnation of God, Rama, pushed into a poor man's ears melted, burning lead, because he was hearing chanting of Vedas, hiding behind the trees where a ritual of Brahmins was happening. There is no question of education. Even hearing was not allowed. And this was the punishment. And Rama is worshipped as an incarnation of God. Gandhi prayed continuously to Rama. And I am simply amazed that a man like Gandhi, who talked continuously of non-violence, was a worshipper of Rama, who is always carrying a bow and arrows. Those are his symbols. And the man who was so cruel, I don't think that poor man was doing anything wrong. Just out of curiosity, what happens in religious ceremonies, he was hiding behind the trees and listening. And of course, there was nothing wrong in it. He could not understand what was happening. But because he did something against the social structure, Rama made that man deaf for his whole life. And still Gandhi goes on chanting every morning, evening the name of Rama. That was his last word when he was assassinated. Hey Rama, O Rama. The last word is also addressed to that man who was not non-violent and who was not even human. There is no question of his being divine. This is something that the movement of sannyas has to do, to expose that these three groups, lusty for power, have been conspiring against whole humanity. And it is time that we should understand and destroy their contract. And that can be easily done. Just you have to create more and more communes where there is no lust for power. Where we are not against money, we are not against clothes, we are not against anything. Where we want our sannyasins to live luxuriously, comfortably. And nobody is to exploit their labor, and nobody is to dominate them. And where the plumber is as much respected as the professor, there is no distinction at all. I am surprised that people who come to visit the commune cannot see a simple fact that a plumber is as much respected as the professor. In fact, nobody knows who is a plumber and who is a professor, because one day the professor is professor, another day he is a plumber. And our plumbers are not uneducated either. They can be professors anytime. This is for the first time so many people are living with human dignity and without any effort of making them equal, because that effort is aggression. That is where I differ from communism. My difference is totally different from other people's differences. They are against communism because their vested interest will be destroyed by communism. I am against communism because it is not enough communist. It is far behind. And this can be easily experienced. In Russia, you can see that the people's individuality have been destroyed completely. Rather than giving them freedom, they are completely enslaved. And classes have not disappeared, just their names have changed. Now the people who are in power, the power elite, and the people who have no power. Russia has two classes, and movement between those two classes is as difficult as it was in India. For 60 or 70 years after revolution, almost the same group has remained in power. People went on dying. New people went on taking their place, but those new people were not from the masses. For example, when Stalin died, Khrushchev was just behind him. For all these 40 years waiting that the moment he dies, he will be the most powerful man in the world. Of course, he has hated Stalin, but even to utter a single word against him, everybody knew that Stalin has killed all competitors. Simply killed. Because in revolution there were many leaders. The most important was Lenin. Stalin poisoned him. But the poisoning was done so slowly that it took 2 years for him to die. But he was sick and for 2 years, Stalin functioned on his behalf. And in these 2 years, he managed to put his people on all strategic positions. Because once Lenin dies, then his second man was Trotsky. If Lenin dies, Trotsky will take over. That's why Lenin was kept alive. Otherwise, there was no need to give him small doses. Just one dose would have been enough. He was kept alive so Trotsky does not come into power. And Stalin was only a secretary. He functioned on behalf of Lenin. The moment he saw that now it is time, I have changed all strategic people, Lenin was finished. And Trotsky, seeing the situation, did not even had any hope of living alive. He escaped from Russia. And he did well that he escaped, because Stalin even killed his dog. He was such a revengeful man. And finally, he killed Trotsky also in Mexico. He had escaped as far away as possible. But a professional killer was sent and he was killed. The people in the line were Kamenev, Zinoviev. Everybody was killed, imprisoned, sent to Siberia, and nobody ever heard of those people, what happened. Trotsky was the most important person, but he was so sure of his importance that he never bothered what is happening behind his back. Stalin, because he has done all this, were perfectly aware that the same thing can be done to him. What he has done to Lenin, to Trotsky, to Kamenev, to Zinoviev, to all the people who were important, more important than Stalin. And he put his own people, and the distance between Stalin and these people was long. And he always kept the distance the same. Nobody could think that he is a friend. Friends are dangerous in power politics because they are too intimate and too close and dangerous. Khrushchev was just a worshipper of Stalin. The day Stalin died and Khrushchev became the prime minister, in his cabinet he for the first time exposed his mind. He said, for 40 years I have been burning. I have seen Stalin do things which nobody has ever done in the whole history. He had killed almost 10 million people after the revolution. Somebody from the back asked, then if this was the case and that man was murderer, what you were doing, why you did not say it before? Khrushchev laughed and he said, comrade, you just stand up so that I can see your face, and please tell what is your name. Nobody stood. He asked thrice. And then he said, do you now understand why I was silent? Have you got my answer? If you had stood up, you would have known what would have happened to me if I had spoken a single word against Stalin. But the same happened to him. There is a company of power elites who has been running the whole show. And they have all the powers. The power of the priest they have because they have destroyed religion completely. So there is no question of anybody being a priest. They have taken that role also. Every book is published only by the government. Every newspaper, every magazine, any information that is published by the government. Now, the government is doing what the priests have been doing before. The politician has taken over the area of the priest completely. Now he is doubly powerful. He decides what is right and what is wrong. And he has taken the third power also in his hands, because everything is nationalized. And what does it mean actually? When things are nationalized, all things go into the hands of the politicians. The whole land belongs to the politicians, all the factories, all the fields, the whole money, everything, people included, because people are no more people, they are commodities. So in Russia, something very special has happened. For the first time, all three have become one. And that's why Russia, the whole country, has become a great prison, a great concentration camp. We have to create communes around the world as models. People can come and see that power is not a need at all. That you can rejoice without being powerful. That you need not enslave anybody. What you try to do by enslaving somebody can be done more easily by just being friendly. just being more loving. And there is no need of creating somebody is higher and somebody is lower. Everybody who is contributing to the commune in any way, cleaning the toilets, is as significant as being the Vice Chancellor of the university. Because both are doing something essential. In fact, the Vice Chancellor can go on leave and there will be no trouble. But the toilet cleaner cannot go on leave, he is more essential, more fundamentally needed. He should be given more respect too. But nobody feels any inferiority, superiority. Nobody bothers about it. The day's work is over and everybody is enjoying, dancing, singing. Professors are there, therapists are there, cleaners are there. There is no class. To me, this is true communism. And we have not imposed any equality. Everybody is unique, nobody is equal here. Yet, there is a subtle current of equality, which does not make you similar. It leaves you unique, and yet all disequality, inequality disappears. Here nobody is a priest, or everybody is a priest. Here nobody is for power, or everybody has power. There is no problem. If somebody wants to hang around his neck that I am the president of this universe, and nobody is going to object, people will really enjoy. Nobody is going to say to him that this is not possible, you don't belong, and you are claiming to be the Lord of the whole universe, and you do just cleaning in the toilets. Nobody is going to say that. He can go in the toilets, go on cleaning them with his board hanging around. Still there is no contradiction. People will take it as a joke. Anybody pretending to be powerful will be taken as a joke, an entertainment. That this man has gone a little crazy. Okay.
Bhagawan, you have called yourself a lazy man, but you frequently speak for nearly 3 hours in the morning and then give a press conference at night. Are you lazy or effortless? Is there a difference?
I'm really lazy. and speaking to me is not an action. I can go on speaking 24 hours. Just there is only one trouble, my bladder. I don't stop because I have answered you. I have to stop because the bladder says enough. Just you move, otherwise I am going to move. But basically I am absolutely lazy. And speaking to me is just like birds singing, flowers blossoming. Yes, you can call it effortless effort. But that is giving a very beautiful name to a simple thing. I would rather prefer to be just called lazy. Okay. Anyone more?
Bhagwan, why don't journalists ask direct questions? They try to trap you, and you seem to escape easily.
They cannot trap me for the simple reason because I don't care about contradicting myself. That is their trouble. You can trap a man easily if he tries to remain consistent. Then you can say 10 years before you said this. In 10 years' time, everything has changed. Either the man has to accept that he was wrong then, which goes against his ego, or he can say that I am wrong now, that goes even more against his ego. And he is trapped. I am not trapped. For the simple reason, because I say whatever I am saying right now, only for that I am responsible. What I will say the next moment has nothing to do with this moment's statement. I believe in change because the whole existence is changing. You cannot say to a rose bush that this is not right. Yesterday there were no flowers, and today suddenly. Were you wrong yesterday, or are you wrong today? No, we accept it. Our life is changing. It is a flux, a movement. But in human society, in all the cultures, consistency has been praised, appreciated, made respectable. And only an idiot can remain consistent. The more intelligent you are, the less is the possibility of remaining consistent. Because you will see the change. And with the changing life and the changing universe, how you can go on clinging to something which is no more applicable? But people want respectability. They are trapped. I am very clear that I don't care about your respectability. You can go and call me self-contradictory, and I accept it as a compliment. Because to me, only intelligence can be self-contradictory. Greater the intelligence, more contradictions. The society insisted for consistency and gave respect to it because it kept people retarded. They could not change. It went against their ego. So even though they could see that something is changed, they will not accept it. They will go on repeating the old. And society will respect them, that those people are reliable, responsible. You can trust them. You can trust their word. If they give you a word, they will keep it. Man of the word has been respected for centuries. I am not a man of the word. I am at ease with existence, and I don't care about these idiots and their respectability and their rewards and awards. I don't care at all. I have a totally different approach. I am in tune with existence, and I am perfectly happy with it. If the existence changes its tune, I change my tune. I keep my steps with existence, not with a culture, not with a society, not even with my own past. The past is dead. I am only alive here and now. That's why they are in trouble. They can trap politicians very easily that you have said this and now you are doing just the opposite. Nobody can say that to me, because I never promised that I will be saying the same thing tomorrow. I never promised that I will not go against my word. I have never given any word to anybody. I am absolutely free to be myself. That is the trouble, that they cannot trap me, one thing. Secondly, because they cannot trap me, they start feeling nervous. Because they don't know what to do now. They have never come face to face of such a man who does not care for respectability, who does not care for honoring his own word, who does not care for all the rules that the societies have made. I live according to my own rules. When I was a student in the university, just by my side, two students were very much interested in playing cards, and once in a while they needed a partner. Three were there, they wanted one man more, and I was just easily available. But they were afraid to approach me. One day, one of them knocked and he said, "We know that you are not interested in anything we are interested. You don't go to the movie, you don't go to see the matches, you don't want to meet people and share gossips about professors, that who is flirting with whose wife. You are different, we know, but we are in a trouble. We are wanting to play, but one partner is missing." I said, "I can come, but the game will be according to my rules. I don't follow anybody's rules. Why I should follow?" They said, "That is difficult. Rules are fixed. A particular game has its rules." I said, "It may have, but who decided it?" "I am ready to come." They said, "Wait, we will have to think about it." They never came back. I used to walk once in a while in front of their room and I will ask, "Do you need a partner?" "We don't want any partner, because we cannot understand you. And if you make rules, you are going to win, because we will not know what to do. We know the old rules and we play the game according to them, but if you are going to make the rules, you are going to win." I said, "That's clear. Whoever makes the rules wins. That's why I never accept anybody's rules. I make my own rules." That is the trouble with poor generalists. They have a certain game which they go on playing with politicians and priests, and they can easily trap the president, the pope, or anybody. There is no problem in it. But they cannot trap me. I simply don't play the game with the same accepted rules. I have my own rules. And they cannot even learn my rules because I go on changing. So it is not that a journalist encountering me for a few times will be able to trap me. Impossible. Each time he will come and he will find another man. And he will come prepared for the old man who exists no more. Okay, Isabel.